I'm okay. But
it's been almost 10 years, and Devora Pontel still tears up when she thinks about the tragic events of 9/11.
I always just tell people, you never know when your moment is gone.
The Maryland native lost her husband, Darren Pontel, that day. A lieutenant in the Navy, he had just finished an overnight shift at the Pentagon. The couple had pledged their love for one another 6 months prior to the attacks.
So you get married and you think, I've got someone to go through life with, and we're partners and we're doing this together, and then all of a sudden you're by yourself.
Pontel's husband is one of nearly 70 Marylanders who will be remembered for their bravery in a new 9/11 memorial being built in front of the World Trade Center at the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. So tell me what we're looking at thus far.
Well, what you see today is an incredible effort, I'd say.
With just a few weeks to go before the official unveiling, workers sand and set these huge marble stones.
Each one weighs between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds, and they're being set really methodically.
It took Doug Bothner, lead architect of the project, a little time to figure out how to arrange the marble base to accommodate these crumpled, buckled, barely discernible steel beams. Housed in an off-site warehouse, this 22-foot-long rusted remnant from the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York will be the centerpiece for the memorial.
Should it be vertical or should it be horizontal? And the power we felt that it was in its transformed state of being horizontal, that it kind of resonated with us.
All memorials are about time, and this one in particular is about that time 10 years ago that changed us all.
Architect Steve Zeiger says once complete, the memorial will also function as a sundial, with the World Trade Center casting a shadow along time markers that chronicle events from that fateful day.
The shadow itself is very important to us, and so every September 11th, we can come here and remember the events of that morning.
This is a drawing of the memorial with the 3 steel beams in place. The names of every Marylander who died on 9/11 will be inscribed on the east side of the marble. A line of European hornbeam trees create a contemplative space for visitors to explore.
I hope that people come here and find a quiet moment for themselves to reflect on that day, where they were, and to honor the memory of the Marylanders who perished that day.
One of the hardest things after she was killed.
John Wesley lost his fiancée Sarah Clark on 9/11. She was on Flight 77 that crashed into the Pentagon. This tattered fanny pack discovered at the crash site, pretty tore up, reminds Wesley of how fleeting life can be.
One can walk out of the door of their home on any given day, a beautiful day, and never come back.
He wears this 9/11 Memorial of Maryland pin to remind people to cherish their loved ones.
Because you know that someone that matters to you very much can suddenly be gone in the world that we live in.
Literally over 2 hours, span of 2 hours and a few minutes, our world changed.
Rand Griffin has the unenviable task of developing the only statewide memorial in the country to honor all 3 locations from the September 11th attacks.
I don't think any of us understood the complexity and the difficulty and the scope of what we got into.
He says feedback from victims' families who felt the memorial was too New York-centric led them to revamp their design. Now it includes 3 black granite slabs to represent Shanksville and 3 layered blocks of damaged limestone taken from the west wall of the Pentagon. Pontel is pleased that items from all 3 sites will be included in the memorial.
When people refer to 9/11, it's the day, the Twin Towers came down and were attacked, and they forget about the other sites. Or maybe they don't forget, but they don't mention it, and they don't talk about it as much.
Devora says she will never forget the horrific events from that day and the unbearable loss of her husband. She keeps the memory of Darren alive by honoring a motto that became his life mantra.
Learn as though you'll live forever, live as though you'll die tomorrow. And that's really how he lived.